Sorry for being late on Black People Time.
You're all right. I just want to tell you first, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and answer our questions. We really, really appreciate it. So you know the routine. I always just like to say it, but I'll start off with my question, and then I'll get right into the fans' questions, okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So for those of you guys that are not familiar with the real Mr. Gbody, we'll ask him, how did you get started in the Gbody culture, and how long have you been doing this, and what made you go with a Gbody versus anything else?
Yeah, well, I started out building imports at first, and then I was always raised around like a family of like muscle cars, like my uncles and cousins, and my father, he built muscle cars and stuff like that. So I guess like me coming up in the era that we were coming up, the import scene was really popular. So I started out with that, and I eventually started building American cars afterward, you know. And then what really made me go and get a Gbody, it was pretty much like a joke. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a car, and then I'm just going to build it from the ground up, and then, you know, and just, I'm going to do it on a budget. So that's when I started a Facebook page. It was called like the Budget Outlaw. So I ended up buying the car. I bought the car from my father. The car had been sitting or whatever, and I ended up buying the car from him. And then I just started building it on a budget. And then I built the audience on Facebook. And then Instagram came along, and then that's how we ended up with this here.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started with the fans' questions. They really had some good questions. I was like, So they must have thought about this and was like, oh, we're gonna make sure we stump them with some good questions. So the first question I have is, who in the DMV would you recommend to do a LS swap?
Anderson Performance. The guy named Billy Anderson. Anderson Performance, and then is another guy too, Sibley Performance.
Okay, all right. So, when are you coming to North Carolina? They say they need to see you at their shows.
I was in South Carolina, and but this year you'll more than likely see me in North Carolina. I'm returning. I'm going back to Georgia too, and Florida. I gotta get down there to Florida.
Definitely gotta get to Florida.
Yeah.
What is your camera of choice? What do you prefer to shoot with?
Now, this is the thing. Now, I have one particular camera that I shoot with. I vlog with a GoPro. Like, this is my vlogging setup right here. If I'm shooting photos or videos, I'm shooting with Nikon.
So you prefer Nikon?
Yeah. Now, there's other cameras out there. Now, if I had a choice to redo everything or buy the equipment all over again now, with the technology the way that it is, it would definitely be Sony.
Sony. Yeah, it's kind of. So far, it's been kind of split down the middle with what the shooters prefer to shoot with. Some say Sony, some say Nikon. It's another brand, and I can't think of it. But someone else said another brand. I just can't think of what it is right now. But it'll probably come back. This is a good one. Go ahead.
No, I was ready to say, I know a lot of guys that they shoot photography. It seemed like their camera of choice would be Nikon. And then a lot of guys use like Canon.
That's what it was, Canon, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of guys, they shoot. I think they originally came out with like image stabilization that was built into cameras and stuff like that. So it had a little bit more features that was for like the guys that wanted to shoot videos and stuff like that.
You're just a little bit fuzzy. I don't know what's going on, but you're just a little bit fuzzy.
All right, hold on one sec. Let me see what we got. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I just your video was a little bit fuzzy, but that's better.
All right.
Oh, this is a great question. Why do you think the Gbody family gets along so much better than the Dunk family?
Oh man, that's a good one. Can you tell me who asked that? I gotta send him some merch.
No.
After the show, we gonna send him some merch. Nah, but to be honest, I believe the Gbody culture is the biggest. We have the biggest platform, and the reason why we get along is because everybody that's involved in it, most of us, we have our hands tied into every little aspect of the culture. So if you're in the low riders, I don't know. It's just the atmosphere of the people. Like the people are so humble. Not saying that it's different in the don't culture or anything like that, because I met a lot of good people that was in the don't culture as well. But it's just something about the Gbody culture, just something about us. We stick together, and when it comes to our people or anybody that's involved in our culture, man, we stand behind them no matter what. Whether it's big rim racing, low riding, pro touring, drag racing, grudge racing, anything, like we stand behind it 100%. We're into it. And I think the background of that culture anyway, like as some stuff, I think that's what brings us together too. As far as like I'll be honest, like with the blacks or whatever, you know, and as far as black, black enthusiasts that had Gbodies back in the day, and our relation to that car, you know, and what other people consider that car as, you know,
right?
Which was kind of like, it's kind of crazy, but you know, if you wanted me to really elaborate on that, I'm not sure if people really know like what they consider them cars, you know, back then in relation to us. You know.
Yeah. Do you currently race your Gbody, or if not, do you have plans to build one to race?
To be honest, at this very moment, I decided not to race. I have so much stuff going on, in the car culture that I just decided that would be like another thing that's on my plate, you know. But I support it. Have I raced it before? Yeah, I raced it before. And I think, I'll be honest with you, with my particular car, I think because of what I have into it and the sentimental value, I don't think I will be able to really like go all out and race that particular car. But I will, like, if I ever had the free time, I will build another car to race though. I was thinking about it though. Like if anything, like if we can get together as like the rim culture and the racing culture, if we can get everything together, I wouldn't mind getting involved in it and really like contribute to that big rim culture outside of what I already do.
Is there one shooter or that inspired you to get involved in doing car photography? Is there any one particular person, or not necessarily a car photographer, but was there any one particular photographer that inspired you to get into photography?
Yeah, it's a guy. When I first started out with like YouTube and stuff, there was a guy that was on there. He's actually on Instagram too. He's a guy called Mr. Business. It's like MrBizNess, and he pretty much takes his DSLR camera. Well, at the time he was, and he was documenting like dirt bike, like the guys with the dirt bikes and stuff. And just the style of the way that he even filmed it and documented that culture, that's what inspired me. Yeah. So once I really got in contact with him and reached out to him, that guy, he helped me out alone. Like he helped me out a good amount. Yeah, so if there's anybody that should get that type of recognition, that would definitely be him though. But as far as like nowadays though, huh?
I said I'm gonna have to go follow him. I don't think I follow him.
Yeah, I'll tag you. I'll tag you, and I'm telling you, the guy makes some amazing. He makes some amazing footage, and you'd be surprised, like with the equipment that he used. I know now he used like a lot, but back then he was using the same camera, like how we was using the Canon, Nikon, and stuff like that. And he, he would be riding with the people, like, he'll be on the back of a dirt bike or a four-wheeler or something like that. And he would just document the culture, like how we document, like, big rim racing or car shows and stuff like that.
That's dope. What is a fun fact that your followers would be surprised to know about you?
Bridges. I love bridges.
Oh, you definitely got to come to Florida. You love bridges and you don't live in Florida?
Oh, we got the best one here in Maryland.
No, y'all don't.
No, just the scene, like, just the scene being on it is an amazing thing to see, you know, especially at a certain point of the day.
True. Sunrise and sunset are the best times of the day on the bridge. That's why I record
and it's
when I'm going across the bridge in the morning.
Yeah, it's something about driving, like on like a tall, real high bridge or a long bridge. It's just something about it with the water and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Right. How do you balance shop life, work life, and personal and family life?
Family always priority. But what makes it easy, I'm not sure how everybody else is, but their situation, but my situation, my family, they get involved. So it's always it makes it 100% easier by them being involved in it. And then it's not about force. They do it, you know, they do it on their own.
Speaking of, I know that is, to me, is like the dopest thing. I'm going to tell you, I think around the time I started following you was when you built your wife that car. And you put the video up of giving her that car.
Oh, yeah.
I was boo-hoo crying like a baby.
And the thing is, we tore it back down, and now we at the point where she's going to be building her own car, you know. I'm going to be there coaching, but now she's actually working on her own car now.
That's so dope. Like, those for me, like, maybe because I'm not like a normal, regular girl, but those are relationship goals to me. And then y'all son, he does the car photography. I'm like, oh my God, I love them.
That's how, like, when we're local, I really don't travel with like the kids that much because I'm still feeling the scene outside, you know, away from home. But when we're here at home going to events and stuff, I'm telling you, it's like the Gbody family, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah,
listen.
We get all the kids involved. They be excited. Like sometimes they be more excited than me. Like even going to a show because I've done it so much. I'm like, all right, cool. This is what we doing tomorrow. They be excited, like to go. So it's always good having them involved.
Y'all don't know, but y'all my family. I in my head, y'all my brother and sister and my nephew.
Oh yeah, and that's how we carry it with anybody that follow us and stuff. Like anybody, because a lot of people like on Facebook, like people they'll comment once they get added, and they be like, hey man, like thanks for the ad, or people if I follow back or something, they'd be like, hey man, thanks for the follow or whatever, and I'd be like, you know, just welcome to the family. You know, not saying everybody's part of my circle, but that's how we carry it, man. Like with everybody.
Well, I appreciate y'all welcoming me in the circle, because even if y'all didn't, after I seen that video, I was gonna get in some type of way. It was either gonna be through like you, through her.
Like I told you before, you family, shit. You family.
So switching gears to big rim racing. What do you think? What do you think is helping big rim racing, and what is hurting big rim racing?
All right. I think I'm gonna start with what's hurting it at this very moment. Like the years, I came on Instagram when it first, around the time when it got really popular, and really got tuned in with it. I think around the time when Dunk Master and Two Fly had their feud, and he went down to Florida and raced Two Fly. And once it took off from there, it started out good, and then it turned south. It went left a little bit. And I think it had a lot to do with, some of it had to do with like the influence of the people that weren't even involved. It was like mainly like the spectators of it. You know, they would like put out such a bad narrative on that entire culture. And then another thing too is that was actually hurting it is like some people can't handle the publicity, you know. So the guys, you say like, all right, and people they got a what's called another thing too that I wanted to discuss on behalf of that like nowadays, people gotta really, how can I put this without offending anybody? People gotta learn what position they fit in when it comes to this stuff. Find a seat at the table, a chair that's empty, find your position, and I'm telling you, and take off from there. Because I don't know what it is about this social media shit, or everybody want to be at the top, and it seems like everybody pretty much pulling down like the pioneers that's already involved in it. You know, everybody can't take Dunk Master place. Everybody can't take, you know, Murph place or Big Low place or Gone Hollywood. Y'all can't take his place. You got to find your own place in this, you know, in this whole culture. It's a fresh platform. Right. So, yeah, you can't sit there and rip pages from their book or write over top of what they already written. They already stamped in a stone, you know. So it's up to us to really like find a position and find out what we fit in that and build from there, you know, and have our own identity, you know.
So what do you think is helping?
The Gbody culture.
The Gbody culture?
Yeah. That's what you can even tell by the way, like a lot of things, like the publicity that we do have. Like when you step back and you really like dig deep and you look into it, right, KP? When you really look into it, look at the narrative that they put on us. Let's just focus on big rim racing. Any type of publicity that we got, whether it was mainstream or anything, like look at the type of narrative that they put out for us. It's like such a good thing, you know, because we gonna stick together. The fans love it. Like we can, you know, we get it in, we get it done. It'd be a little bit of bull here and there, but for the most part, man, we get it done. When it comes to the shootouts, like all of that, we come together, we get it done, and we gonna support whether we watching it on a live feed and everything, you know. We stand behind them. We stand behind anybody that got a Gbody that's down there at them events. Man, we behind them. We stand behind it. And I think it's the unity that we have within the culture. And we, like I said, anybody that's on the forefront, no matter who it is, we always stand behind them. Yeah, no matter if it was, you know what I'm saying, like when the Black Blur came on the scene, like we stood, like we was on it. No matter who the owner was or who was driving it. That particular car, that's like family, you know, right there. Playboy Jeezy, Turbo Joe. There's a lot of people, man, that, you know, Roscoe, a lot of people that came on the scene. And like I said, everybody played their position when it came to them guys and put them on the forefront. And we stood behind them. We didn't try to tear Jeezy down or Turbo Joe down or, you know, Dunk Master when he had the Black Blur out. We didn't try to tear them down when it came to that. But for some reason, we just can't get that. We can't get that connection. Not us as the Gbody culture, but just us in the big room culture. We just can't get that unity when it comes to the dunks. You know what I'm saying? It's there as far as the people that are involved, but the people that's outside of it, I think they are the ones that's really tearing it apart, you know?
You keep freezing up, so I don't know what's going on, but I can hear you talking.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
I can hear you fine. Your picture is freezing, but I can hear you fine.
How I'm looking now?
Not too much better, but it's okay. As long as I can hear you, we good.
Just like Rock Stone 718 just commented, he said everybody wants to be the chief. That's the whole point right there. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna let you. I ain't gonna take too much. I'm sorry, but let me ask you this, right? And then we're gonna leave that topic. Let me ask you this: if everybody wants, you know what I mean, and this is what I mean when I say like positions or whatever, right? Let's say like me, you, and the racers, for instance. Like, you know how you have your show, you have the interview or whatever. Like that's your identity, that's your position. Like me, let's say I'm documenting. That's what that's my position. That's what I do. I separate myself from everybody else. Imagine if you was trying to race and everybody else wanted that top spot or be in front of the camera or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, the culture really need a lot more than just the races. You know what I mean? Like, people, we still gotta eat. We love music. You know how we do. Like, we just gotta find a place. We just gotta find our position. And I think that's what a lot of people fail at.
Well, I tell people all the time, my thing is, and of course, this is just an analogy. We know that I'm not a man. But in this life, I don't have to be the man. I just want to be the man that stand next to the man, that stand next to the man, that stand next to the man. Because as long as I'm eating, I don't have to. I may not like steak.
Exactly.
I ain't got to eat steak.
As long as we at the table, that's all that matters. As long as we at the table, that's all. You just need to get at the table. That's all it is. Find a seat, sit down, and find your place. Yep. Everybody want to be at the head of the table. 20 people can't sit in one chair. You got to find your own seat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Why did you stop being interested in imports and go domestic?
Oh, no, I'll always be interested in imports. And if you was at that Return of Dunk Master show, you would probably know that, like, I will always, that's my first heart right there. You know, my first love is imports. And if you was at that Dunk Master, at the Return of Dunk Master at that show, I probably won a bunch of money off of it. Because it was one particular import that was down there, and everybody wanted to bet with them big wheel cars. And guess what? He was tearing their asses up. It was a green Integra that was down there. And I cleaned up on all the asses down there. Yep. I think it was more like a pride thing, because they was like, man, that little thing ain't going to do nothing. And, you know what I'm saying? The whole time the car was set up a totally different way. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing. I don't know. I think, like, I feel like that was like my younger days. I'm a little more mature, so I think I outgrown that phase of cars. So now it's like the older cars now. Like, I'm really like just into them.
Oh, now that you're an old head, huh?
Nah, I ain't. No.
Let me ask you, when you started all these years ago, first question though is how did you come up with the name The Real Mr. Gbody?
That's what the people gave me.
Oh.
That's what they gave me. I'm telling you, this whole entire thing, the whole branding thing, believe it or not, it was all built off of demand. So whatever people wanted, they got it. A lot of people, because I would do a lot of research, like on forums and stuff. So whenever people would come with like questions and stuff like that, I would always respond back and help them out. And then people seen the process of me building the car. So one day we was all at the track and we were discussing it. And then the guy was like, well, like, damn, like, you know, it's a clean car and you pretty much know a lot of stuff about it. Man, we just gonna call you Mr. Gbody. And I think he was really like trying to put it in reference to, like, in comparison to like Mr. Miyagi, you know. I think it was like in reference to the car being clean. So they just like, all right, cool, we just gonna call you Mr. Gbody. So we kind of like just ran with it.
So when you started all those years ago, did you ever see your brand being where it is now?
To be honest, nah, I didn't. Back then, I was excited to get 1,000 followers. We was celebrating it. I think it was every 100 followers, we would do a giveaway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I would get my first 100 giveaway. I think that's why I built up such a, you know, I'm not even a good support system. Like a lot of people, like, they like real supporter. They stand behind me real well. Yeah, because I do a lot. I do a lot for the, you know, I stand up for, when it comes to that Gbody culture, I stand up for them people, man. I stand up because one thing they're not going to do, they're not going to put us on the back burner. And if y'all remember, I'm not sure if anybody was on here, y'all probably, a lot of people remember me from the feud that I had with Rydes magazine.
What feud? Okay, let's talk about this. What happened?
All right, so it was a little while ago, and you know how when you first got Rydes magazine, you open up like a few pages or whatever, and there was a section where it was like up and coming cars or cars that you could send in, like a grassroots type of thing. And I think it was a time where, and that was like one of my favorite parts of the magazine, because these people, they built cars from home, and they budget built cars, and this was like my type of people. I like to see that process of their cars and the write-ups on it. They had like a little small section of the magazine. So, so at the time, they decided that they were going to take that section out of the magazine. Like, I felt a little offended by it. And then that's when I just, not in a disrespectful way, but I did, like, I tried to reach out to him on Instagram and I couldn't do that. So the only way that I knew that I would get a response back was on Twitter. And that's how I got in contact with him, you know. And they told me, you know, I was pretty upset about that. And then a little bit after that, you know, they sent me an email, like a contact email to express myself or whatever. And I sent them this long email. And then like a little bit after that, I'm not sure if anybody has a recent Rydes magazine or whatever, but it's something called like it's called the Golden Grams. And like a little bit after that, that's when Golden Grams came along. I don't know if it was because of me or what, but what they did was there's a section called the Golden Grams, and I was one of the people that they featured right in the Golden Gram.
We're going to say it was because of you. That's what we're going to say. That's our story. We're sticking to it.
Yeah, but it's a section. It's not called like the grassroots or anything no more. It's called like the Golden Gram. So anybody that was building a car, in the process of building a car, that's the section you would be in, you know. And then it has like now it has like your Instagram name and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh,
like I said,
dope.
a little bit after that feud, they started, and that little section is called Golden Gram. Yeah.
That's dope.
There's a lot of other things. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I do. It's just, I don't try to like, you know, I don't elaborate on it too much. I just, like, the people, like, there's a lot of pages, like, there's a lot of big feature pages and everything that's on here on Instagram that I helped out and everything, like, on the back end. There's a lot of people, a lot of pages, and a lot of brands that I helped out. You know, I don't expect the recognition for it. It's just, you know, I just do it out of the goodness of my heart. Yeah.
Well, I can vouch for it. I'm not one of the big brands or one of the big pages or one of the, but yeah, I can definitely vouch for you being like a stand-up guy and actually, like, when the show was gonna come about, you was like, okay, yeah, do it.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That I'm like that with anybody, because that's how it be. It'd be a lot of people that inbox me ideas and stuff like, hey man, you should do this or whatever, or you should, because that's how a lot of people do. They'll be like, not you in particular, but a lot of people they'll be like, hey man, like, what you think about this? You think you can do this? But you know, I already have enough on my plate. Like, at the time, I'm trying to race a car, trying to build a car, you know, trying to do photography. I'm trying to vlog, trying to, you know, sell merch, and I have a lot on my plate. So I'm like, man, why don't you do it? And then, you know what, I'll help you out. So, I don't know, it's just out of the goodness of my heart. Sometimes it do excite me, though, to hear somebody, like, come out with a fresh idea or, you know, like with the show or whatnot. You know, like how you came with, I'm all for it. Like, just do it. That's the only thing. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Don't even ask nobody. Just do it. As long as you're not copying anybody or nothing like that. Like I said, you in your own lane. Right now, what you got going on in your own lane. No one, there's plenty of live feeds and all that stuff, but it's nothing like this, nothing on the level of this. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And that's God's honest truth. So I'm a fan behind it.
When I never, I just thought, okay, well, I'll do a couple shows and, you know, a couple people to watch. I didn't think, it's only been 5 months. You know that? It's only been 5 months.
Oh, yeah.
And it's growing and so much is happening. I actually have something that at the end of the show you haven't even seen, I don't think, that I want to show everybody. So I'll show them, and this will be the first time you seeing it as well. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna show that at the end. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned in the photography, videography, vlog, this whole social media atmosphere world?
Self-confidence.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I always told myself I was gonna save it for like a documentary, but I'll elaborate on it a little bit. I kind of blame it on the environment that I came up in, because a lot of the stuff that I'm into now, like the cars and photography and stuff like that, the type of environment that I was around, and back, I guess we would consider it like the hood or whatever. Like people in that environment, they look down upon it, So I always stuck by it.
All right.
But at times, like it was, you already know when you're young, like, and I always been into it since I was a little child. So when you coming up, around like my son's age, you can easily get influenced if someone else like, man, like that ain't cool, or why you doing that, or 'cause it's different to them. But the whole time I'm so passionate about it, there's no way you can take it from me. So what I would do was I would just hide it from people. I always, I would just hide that part. Like people always knew that I was into cars, but a lot of stuff I just hid from a lot of people, because I didn't want to get judged or whatever. So it kind of like put me in a closed place. And then as as time went on and I grew up and I matured more, like I said, YouTube helped out a lot, with like self-confidence and talking into the camera and talking to people and stuff like that. Just being public with a lot of people, that helped out a lot. So like I said, this thing here, like I said, it could be a gift and a curse, but this social media thing, like and it's still a lot that I'm still working on, like just me as a person. But it has helped me personally. It helped me a lot. That's what I value. That's what I value.
What advice would you give to any up-and-coming shooter or vlogger or photographer or videographer?
If you enjoy it, do it. Don't even think about it. Don't ask nobody for no advice on whether you should do it or not. Just do it. If it come to mind, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't even think about failing at anything, because let me tell you something. This world was built on a bunch of failure,
I agree. So yeah, not to allow the whole car build for your wife to steal, the spotlight. But I want to talk about that. that made me. So anybody who's on here that did not see that video, gotta go back and watch it. It was just So tell us how that came about. The car build for your wife.
She was always supportive. Like ever since I met her, she always been supportive, right? So she always mentioned that she wanted one. Like when I got my car, when I got my money car, she always mentioned that she wanted one. So we can have like what is it called when the couples get, what is it, his and hers. She always had like a his and hers. So she always would mention it. We would always ride, and she would help build, help me with like certain stuff when I worked on a car. She would always help out and this and that. And then like it became a time when she just kept bugging me about it. She just kept bugging me about like, I want one. And at the time I couldn't afford it. I'll be honest, I couldn't afford it because we was going through like life struggles and stuff like that financially. So as time went on, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy one. But my thing is, at the time when I was ready to buy one, what she wanted, I couldn't. It was so high, like the Monte Carlo. She wanted a Monte Carlo SS and a T-top car. And you already know nowadays, everything is like buying a Chevelle, or it's like buying a Dunk damn near,
Right.
So I don't know. At the time, I was like, you know what? I really can't afford like an SS car right now. Outside of trying to build my car. So a buddy of mine, he had called me up, and he's like, hey man, such and such, a guy that we knew, he was selling the Cutlass. So I was like, all right, cool, well, send me the link or whatever. So he sent me a Facebook link, and the car was a T-top car, bucket seat, floor shift the car. So I'm like, I wonder how much you want for it. I was like, thing is in pretty rough shape, but I think I have enough money to buy it. So when I called him up, I was like, well, how much do you want for it? And the guy was like, you know what? He's like, for you, I'm going to give it to you for X. No, I'm not going to disclose how much it cost, but it was a low number. He's like, man, because who you are, and I would like to see how you put that car together, I want you to have it. So we negotiated that number, and he brought that car to me. And like halfway, he delivered the car to me. He drove it to me. So halfway there, I think the water pump or something went up on the car. So we was like buying all these parts and stuff to try to get it to the shop that I worked at. And then once I got it there, we tore it apart. And all the people that I work with, all my coworkers, they helped me like all the rust repairs and anything that needed to be done. They helped me out with it and everything. So we ended up getting it painted, and we only had 30 days to put that car together. So we sitting there, and you know how T-top cars are. T-top cars have a bunch of rust. So we trying to cut all this rust out of the roof and try to do all this stuff here. And then, you know, we running out of time. So I'm like, man, I really don't have time to really, and it's a black car. So I'm like, I really don't have time to really fine tune all this, you know, all this body work and all this shit here. So I was like, man, let's just fix whatever we can and just hurry and just put it, you know, just hurry and paint it real quick so we can hurry and get this car to her. Yeah. So the day of her birthday, what I did was I went home and I snuck my car out the garage and took it home, and then got her car and drove it and put it in the garage and closed the garage, and I closed all the windows, put paper all over the garage windows and stuff like that, and made sure she never went in there until it was time to really open the door, you know, and show her the car.
So tell us what you said, because I don't know if I remember. Tell us about the video of you leading her to the garage.
Dang, that was a little while ago. The video, matter of fact, the video up. You know, I was just pretty much expressing myself to her, and it led up to that point.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. I feel like I'm a G, right?
Her for the support, just acknowledging her for the support that, you know, that she was going. I felt like she deserved it. I was like, cool. So we popped the door open and she went off.
Listen, let me tell you something. I feel like I'm a G. I don't cry too often, except at like movies you're supposed to cry at. But when I seen that video, let me tell you something. I was crying like a baby, and I kept wanting to look at it, and I kept crying.
Oh, Lord. You like, my mother, she the same way.
Man, listen.
In fact, she was out there crying, too. There were a couple people, they was out there crying.
Because it's just the thing about it is, in today's society and the world we live in, you don't really, I won't say I don't see it a lot. I'll just say I don't see it a lot. You don't really see husbands who really want to make their wives happy in that way. They may buy them a little something, but you wanted to build her a car because she kept expressing that she wanted a car. And she's a car girl, so she's a girl after my own heart. I was like, oh, man, I love them. That's my new family. I'm about to move where they at.
Shit, we ready to come south now. We ready to come south.
So let me ask you, where do you see your brand in the next 5 years?
I see it standing strong. I'm really not gonna. I don't like setting plans for stuff like that, to be honest. I just like to go with the flow. But I do see it being further than what it is now. Like, even with things that I have in store, like things that I have planned for my particular brand, and in the culture, the big rim culture, and things that I actually want to do is like, I want to help it. I want to help it in a major way, you know? And I feel like the type of reach that I have to certain people now and corporations and stuff like that, I feel like I'll be a big help to the culture very, you know, within 5 years. I'll say that. So,
you're a big help to the culture now, though.
I mean, not how I would like to be yet.
But you know, we're always our own worst critic. We're hard on ourselves. Like how we will underrate our contribution to things. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you never realize.
But lately, I've just been setting back. And you right, like sometimes that's what I do a lot. I just go back and I just critique like what I've done, and I feel like a lot of things that I have done, we could have done it at a high, at a high level, a high tier. We could have grinded hard at something else instead of focusing on other things,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I'm gonna mainly focus on this year. Like even like with the photography and the videography stuff, I'm still gonna vlog a little bit, but I want to get more involved with the culture itself. Like I still want to reach out to people and like as far as the people that's involved with it, the fans of it, even people like within like the corporations and stuff, the people that I can reach out to anyway, and I'm just trying to bring it all together.
Right.
But the only thing, like but the one thing, like when I do present it to a lot of people, like up here is a little bit different than down there where you at, And I feel like I kind of sometimes when I elaborate on, I feel like kind of out of place being up here. That's why I said like I got to get south, because up here, up north, like a lot of people and a lot of that's high up in the corporations and stuff like that. They don't really support. They don't really support what we have going on here.
Right. Well, they don't really
even down to the tracks. Like even the tracks here in Maryland, like they really don't support it. Like like we don't have big rim events up here. Anything like that. They barely let us. Nah. Like we have car shows, but as far as a rim racing event, we never had one. Unless you go to Virginia. Virginia, Stickman Jack and them was the only ones that I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Stickman and them was probably the only ones that I personally knew that had big rim events in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Because our home track, you could run on rims and shit like that, but you wasn't running, like you had to tech that car in, and they go by certain guidelines and stuff like that. Very, very strict on it because they never supported it. They really don't want it there, to be honest with you.
That's a whole nother can of worms. We're gonna leave that where it's at for right now. But we got about another 14 minutes. What would you like for your fans or followers or supporters to know about the real Mr. Gbody and your brand?
Oh yeah, I mean, if anything that I haven't covered over the time or over the years, you can always inbox me. I love to communicate with people. One thing that I will say sometime soon, I do have an idea that I want to pitch to you, and in particular KP, that just to try to bring like some people in and try to build like our own, let's say our own pool of people. And as far as like brand building and stuff, I think we elaborated on it before when we was talking about the group or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, like we'll touch that topic. We'll touch that topic later. But yeah. But if you want to reach out to me, man, like I said, you can inbox me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, shit. I'm always contacting people back. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to the KP's YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to their channel. Click the link in the bio, and make sure y'all subscribe to that channel. Like I said, it all helps out, man.
Definitely,
it all helps out. And I'll also, and before the show is over with, before I forget, I do want to send a shout out, like I said, man, to Mr. Business. Sir Buck Films, G-Dog, Velt Boy, anybody that's part of it, Rich Everything, G-Dog, like people that actually, these guys, I reached out to them and they helped me. Like Sir Buck is like the mentor, even though my guy, Mr. Business, he inspired me, but like I said, all them guys, they real cool guys. Even Rich Everything, like it's been times where he helped me out with little stuff here and there, but like y'all mentioned with Buck, very, very technical guy. And every time he be on me, man. He be on me. Especially down in Carolina. He's like, let me see what you got. He grabbed my little equipment. He's like, nah, we got to tighten up, man. But that's the thing, like the difference between I was do you know the guy Clint Davis? He does like photography for like Dunk Master and them.
Yes. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him.
All right, so it was him, Buck, and Clint was together, and it was all three of us. We were together, we conversating, and we was discussing it. And like Buck, he had got on me. He's like, "You gotta tighten up, man. I guess something was wrong with the gimbal I was using. It was like too loose or something." And he's like, "Yeah, man, you gotta tighten up." You know, he getting technical with me. And I told Buck, I said, "Man, look here, like I'll just do this as a hobby. Like y'all are the professionals." I'm like, y'all do it professionally. I just bullshit around and just document what I got going on just so people can actually see, like, all right, cool. You had that experience down there. Well, like, we want to see something. So, like I said, I separate myself from them guys, Rich Everything, G-Dog. Those guys, they whips my weight and all them. They are the professionals. I'm just the guy. I just do it as a hobby. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Booker called me, and I have to actually, honestly, just stay on the phone with him, but check out of the conversation. Because I be like, bro, I'm not doing none of that. Why are you wasting your breath? I'm not doing that. I'm not a shooter.
Sir Buck helped me a lot.
He definitely will, but I just don't, that's not me. I don't do that. Listen, when it comes time for that, I'm going to hire somebody for that. I ain't doing
yeah. Yeah, but for anybody that's out here that's probably, that's watching it, or anybody that's, in the future that will run across this video or whatnot, like, just be yourself, man. Like, if like I said earlier, man, if everybody climbing, looking to be at the top or be in any of the pioneers positions or anything like that, which is cool. But if everybody do that, then it's other positions that need to be filled. You know what I'm saying? So find what fits you the best.
Right.
Find what fits you the best. All because you have a car doesn't mean that you have to race it, or doesn't mean that you have to be in the heavyweight. Every sport has different tiers. It's okay to be a lightweight. It's okay to be a middleweight. It's okay to be, a daily driver, or, it's okay to have a Charger. It's okay to have an A-body. Like all these different fields of cars that we have in this big rim culture. I'm telling you, it's an open field. Let the pioneers let them be who they are. Let Hollywood and them, that's what they're here for. They set the platform out. They've done, believe it or not, and I commend all of them for, like Big Low, Dunk Master, Hollywood, all them guys. They pretty much done laid the platform out for us. They done all the hard work. And then, with the exposure, they bringing the exposure to us.
Right.
So it's us, we got to stand behind them. Everybody as a culture, no matter if you're on a G-body, a A-body, a short bed, anything, we got to stand behind them guys, man, and because if we keep tearing them down, man, we're going to lose, we're going to lose it all. We're going to lose it all. So if they in position to put it all in place for us, so we can be able to have, the things that we want and the things that we created, all of us, we created something, and we got, this is why we're here. That's why we're having this interview, or that's why, people can come on this show and elaborate. This is why we have what we have, because of a platform that we all contributed to.
Right.
So we can't, we can't allow nobody, I'm telling you, we can't allow no hot heads or no bad apples to come in and mess up what we got going on. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And stop complaining at these races. Stop complaining at these races about not being enough racing if you're not going to bring a car and tech it in and race. Or contribute something. I'm telling you, because I'm going to say this and then I'm just going to let it go. If I come to any event, I'm not spending all that money and coming to no event just to sit there and see if 3 or 4 particular people are going to race. Mm-hmm. You will never see me go to anybody's race event or any car show or anything like that and then say, oh, man, I'm disappointed with it because they didn't race, or this person and this person didn't race, or this lot didn't race. Because, first of all, I'm too busy doing other shit. If they ain't racing, the hell with them. All right, cool, I'll go somewhere else. We'll go and race goddamn golf carts at the bottom of the track somewhere.
I'm guilty. We be racing golf carts.
golf cart. I see y'all do a lot of foot racing and everything. So when people come along like that, the bad apples that come along that don't even spend their money and pay for tickets or entry fees and shit like that, them the type of people that we should be they in the way. We got to get them
Gotta get them out the way.
You got to get them bad apples out the way. There you go.
You can get
Hey, let me tell you something, D. I'm gonna be real with you. I done got my ass gapped twice already.
So we have just a few more minutes. What I wanted, like I know I call you about everything. I kind of tend to show you everything, but I kind of wanted to work on something that was like my baby, and then once I get a rough draft of it, then get help. So I wanted you to kind of see that I can put something together. So about 2 weeks ago, I thought to myself, why not have a Rydes and Vybes magazine?
Oh.
So I started working. I first was like reaching out to people who do this professionally to have them put something together. And then I was like, you know what? I just want a rough draft. I'm going to make something so that I can have a foundation. It's like having the foundation of the house. So I got a foundation. And can you see?
Oh, okay. Come back a little bit. Pull it back. There you go. So is that the magazine right there?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Do it.
So that's officially
Go for it. Don't let nothing.
This is the first one. This is just my rough draft. I wanted to be more. I just wanted to be more, but I wanted to make sure that I had just something to show as a Also, we always want to make sure we got a shooter spotlight. You see, since you mentioned Buck.
Right. That's my guy. Sir Buck Film, man. Shout out.